Welcome everybody to TechCraft, this is Rob, and in today's video I'll be reviewing the Goodee G500 mini projector. Let's go. So I've been looking for a projector for my iPad and for my Raspberry Pi for quite a while now. Never really settled on one that I wanted to pick up, but then the folks over at Goodee contacted me and said, hey, do you want to review this G500? So of course I said yes, and I've been using it for maybe 3 or 4 weeks now, just playing around with it, seeing how well it did, and I thought I'd share my impressions with you all. Let's dive in. Okay, let's start by taking a look at what you actually get in the box, and the projector comes complete with this nice carrying case, and just in this back pouch here, I've stuffed the power cable, which obviously, if you buy a US model, you'll get a much flatter and easier to pack cable. Let's put that off to one side, and we'll just lie this flat. This will unzip, and I'm just gonna spin it round, and then out at the top here, there's a pouch, and in here, I have the remote control, this RCA adapter, which I've not seen one of these in quite some time, and you get an HDMI cable as well. Now in the UK, this unit retails for around about £100, and in the US it retails for about $130. So I was quite surprised to see the HDMI cable and even the weird RCA cable that I haven't got a device I can use it with anymore. But it's nice to see that everything comes in the box. Now, the remote control needs batteries. It needs 2 AAA batteries. Sadly, those didn't come in the box, so that was the only thing that was missing, but not a surprise at this price point. I'm gonna put these off to one side and we take a look at the projector itself. So it's secured in by these little Velcro straps, which is nice. Grab this out. I'm gonna shuffle the case off to the side here and we can take a look at the projector. So on the top here, you've got the buttons. This brings up the menu, side to side. Okay, this is the important one. It's the input selector, and this is the power button. On the back here, we've got all of the inputs that we can see. So VGA, if you have any VGA devices left. AV for the 3-prong RCA connector, so that goes into there. And you can then connect this to an old-fashioned video recorder, I guess, or something like that. Definitely don't have anything to test that with. 2 USB ports. These will supply power, so you can charge your phone if you want, or you can even power something relatively low powered like an Amazon Fire Stick and then connect it to the HDMI port, which I guess for most people, and for me in particular, is the most important port on the projector. It's a 2-prong power adapter, so no kind of proprietary power leads here, so if you lose the lead or you need to get a new one, it's just a cheap one you can get from Amazon. And this grill here is actually the speaker, and I was quite surprised how good the speaker is, and I'm going to try and catch some of the sound to share with you, but this is surprisingly good actually. So in addition to using this with my iPad Pro, I tested the projector with my Raspberry Pi and with my MacBook Pro. Both worked flawlessly. I tried to power the Raspberry Pi from one of these USB sockets and then link it up to the HDMI socket. I couldn't get that to work. I don't think these USB sockets will deliver enough reliable power, but it did work with the battery, so that was fine. So size-wise, this is not the smallest, as you can tell, like my hands. If I put my iPhone in here, you can see it's not the smallest projector. This really isn't one of those portable projectors. It sits somewhere between a full-size projector and a mini truly portable projector, but because of the extra size, you do get a few extra features. So you get a nice LED bulb, which they quote between 30,000 and 50,000 hours. Obviously, I haven't been able to test that, but being LED, it should last for quite some time. It's pretty bright. I've seen varying reports on the internet about how bright it is, somewhere between 3,800 and 4,800 lumens, and it has a projection range between 5 and 15 feet. Obviously, the closer you are to the screen or the wall, the smaller the actual projected picture. In terms of resolution, you get 720p out of this device, but it will accept a full HD input at 60 Hz and then downscale that and project it at 1280. Let's now connect this to the iPad and see what the picture actually looks like. So here you can see I have the projector connected up to my iPad. I'm just using a basic dock that I had lying around that will carry HDMI video and HDMI audio. I'm just using Keynote at the moment, and you can see actually on a bright day, I don't have any curtains in this room, so there's daylight streaming in. It's pretty good as I'm moving through. The whites are quite white, and even the darks are pretty dark. If I put my studio lights on, so really create a lot of strong ambient light, the picture does fade out a little bit, but I think it's still visible, and obviously you wouldn't really be using a cheap projector like this in a room that isn't relatively well controlled for light. As I alluded to already, you can control the focus and the keystoning with the 2 little levers at the front of the projector, and it's the back lever that controls the keystoning and the front lever that controls the focus. Now, I want to make a quick note about this, and maybe my biggest complaint about the picture of the projector is if you're tilting the projector, then the keystoning really causes the edges of the projector to lose a lot of focus. I've not been able to get the full picture in focus while the projector is actually tilted. So ideally you'd use this on a totally flat surface and keep the projector completely perpendicular with respect to the projection surface. If I switch off Keynote now and put on some video, so here I've got an episode of the X-Files, and you can see that the picture's pretty good, but what I really want to do is just show off the sound, so let's just take a quick listen to that. So that was directly from the speaker in the unit, and I think you'll see that that's actually a pretty good quality sound from such a small unit and from such a basic speaker. Now obviously if you need more high quality sound, there is an output socket on the back of the projector where you can listen to headphones or just put in some stereo speakers. So while we're on the topic of sound, one thing I really wanted to talk about, and I couldn't really get a good recording of this, is the actual sound of the projector itself. To my ears, it's quite loud, but when I tried to record it with the sound of the X-Files in, I couldn't hear it at all, and I couldn't get my microphone to pick it up. So maybe I'm overly sensitive to the frequency, I don't know, but just be wary, this is not the quietest projector, but then again, it is a cheap projector, so I'm not sure what I was expecting. So overall, how do I feel about this projector? Well, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised by it. I think I wanted to dislike it more than I actually do, maybe because I just was convinced in my mind that a cheap projector wouldn't be very good. But when I've been sitting in my office, I've actually just been playing X-Files projecting against the wall from this, and it's been quite nice. Obviously, it's not 4K, it's not full HD, it is only 720p. The sound is good, but it isn't fantastic. But for less than £100, I can't really complain. I wish it was quieter, and I wish that there was no need for the remote control. I wish all the buttons were on the unit itself, because that would make the whole package quite a bit smaller. But really, that's a small minor thing, and overall the package is fantastic. So I hope that you found this video useful. If so, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and don't just hit subscribe, but hit the bell as well, so that you don't miss out on any future content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.